Hi. Our next book set is a series of books by an author named Patricia McKissack. And this is the first in that series. It's called A Million Fish, More or Less. Think about what it means when we say more or less. And I wonder how that's going to apply in this book, A Million Fish, More or Less. It was early morning in the Bayou Clapeteau. Hugh Thomas had just tossed his line into the water when Papa Daddy and Elder Abijah came rowing out of the gauzy river fog. They were swapping Bayou tales, just like they had for years. "Morning to you," Hugh Thomas called as they pulled up alongside the bank. Papa Daddy started right in. "The elder and me was just sayin' that the Bayou Clapeteau is a mighty peculiar place." Peculiar is another word for strange. Take the time back in '03. Me and the elder here caught a wild turkey weighed 500 pounds. Hugh Thomas's eyes filled with wonder. That's a powerful big turkey. Quickly, Elder Abijah took up the story, adding, "As we was marchin' that gobbler home, I spied a lantern that had been left by Spanish conquistadores back in the year 1542, and it was still burning. After 350 years, Hugh Thomas exclaimed in amazement. Papa Daddy lowered his voice to a whisper. Just when the elder picked up that lantern, the ground commenced to quaking, and the longest, meanest cottonmouth I ever did see raised up." There's that cottonmouth snake. "The thing had legs and went to chasing us. The hounds broke and run. I got tangled up in the ropes, and that turkey got clean away." With a quick nod, he gave the story back to Elder Abijah. "About that time, a swarm of giant mosquitoes attacked. I lost my footin' and dropped the lantern in a pool of quicksand. Might near fell in myself. Course, as you can see, I didn't then, 'cause I'm here now." Hugh Thomas studied on what the two old swampers had told him. Then he smiled. "Y'all are just funning, right? Did that turkey really weigh 500 pounds? "More or less," Papa Daddy answered, snapping his suspenders and winking his eye. "And was that lantern really over 350 years old? Give or take a year or two," Elder Abijah answered, swatting a mosquito. "Was it really still burning? Well, let's just say it was flickering a bit." And with their tale all told, the two men rode away. "Remember," Papa Daddy called just before they disappeared behind the curtain of fog, "strange things do happen on the Bayou Clapeteau." That's quite the tale they told. Now, Hugh Thomas was alone with only worrisome mosquitoes to keep him company. But it wasn't long before he caught 3 small fish. And in the next half hour, he caught 1,000,000 more. Big ones, little ones, all sizes. The boy was so excited he whooped with joy. Wait till Papa Daddy and Elder Abijah see this. Then, loading his magnificent catch on his wagon, he turned to leave. But without warning, 2 yellow eyes surfaced just above the waterline. Hugh Thomas knew it was a 2, the grand pere of all the alligators in Jackson's Point. The old gator slithered onto the bank, blocking the boy's way. "Where do you think you will go with all our fish?" he hissed angrily. Hugh Thomas blinked. Why, that gator was talking right out. These are my fish, the boy answered with an uncertain spirit. Two's mean eyes took in the catch. And what's for me and mine to eat if I let you take them all? Hugh Thomas considered making a run for it, but the old gator must have read his mind. Don't even think of it, he warned, inching closer. Then he chuckled softly. Your best chance is to figure on this. If 100 alligators 100 feet long can move at 100 yards per second, how long would it take us to get from this water to you and your wagon of fish? Answer now, he hissed, still moving closer. Not long enough for me to get away, Hugh Thomas thought. Deciding that anything was better than tangling with Attu and all his kin, he solved the riddle by throwing a goodly amount of fish back into the bayou. You make the right answer, Attu said. Then he turned and disappeared beneath the dark waters, along with 100 other alligators who had been watching and waiting. Hugh Thomas took a quick count and saw he still had close to 500,000 fish left. He followed the swamp path that was the quickest way to Papa Daddy and Elder Abidjan's houseboat. Story had it that Jean Paulet's pirate treasure was hidden somewhere amongst the cypress knees, but Hugh Thomas wasn't interested. I've got my own treasure, he boasted. The air grew thick, hovering over the swamp like a big, smothering hand. Then the still came, a terrible kind of silence with its own sound. The boy hummed and quickened his steps. Something was stalking him, closing in fast. The ghost of Jean Paulet, maybe? No, Hugh Thomas was suddenly surrounded by an army of raccoons, led by the most notorious rogue of them all, Mosley. By my leave, shouted the bandit leader. We'll be demanding a toll, lil sir, and ye wagon of fish there will do nicely. Wait, Hugh Thomas cried out, that's not fair. No fair, says he, Mosley scoffed. And what'll be fair to you? Half, maybe? Hugh Thomas couldn't believe he was bargaining with a band of pirate raccoons. Why settle on half, mate, when we could take it all? Thinking fast, Hugh Thomas suggested. A contest? That's it. We'll have a contest of some kind. Mosley laughed coarsely. A contest it'll be. You win, we take half the catch. I win, we takes it all. Mind you, that's as fair as it'll be gettin'. The boy agreed, not knowing what to expect. Swords, pistols, wrestling. Then, to his astonishment, Mosley whistled, and 2 black bears appeared. Reaching beneath a huge swamp cabbage, the pirate pulled out a 20-foot snake. We'll skip rope, says I. And so the contest began. The bears turned and Mosley jumped. Hugh Thomas hadn't seen such fancy footwork in all of his life. That rascal skipped so hard and so fast he was down in a pit when he finally missed on jump 5,552. His motley crew sent up a loud cheer, but Hugh Thomas held his own. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 4,050. Hugh Thomas jumped and jumped. 5,000. He was so tired. His legs hurt, but he jumped some more. 5,550. He managed just 3 more jumps before missing, but it was enough to win 5,553. Mosley was purely outdone. He went to grumbling and mumbling and swearing under his breath. But in the end, he made good his word. I takes me lickin', and now I'll be takin' me fish. One by one, hundreds of masked bandits marched past the wagon and plucked a juicy treat. Then Mosley found the plumpest fish for himself and beckoned Hugh Thomas to hurry along. Even though his catch was cut by half again, Hugh Thomas still felt like a winner. Moving with purpose, he passed the large cypress stump called Napoleon's Elbow, then quit the swamp. Winding his way through the deserted grounds of the Mossland mansion, he held with tradition and threw part of his catch to the waterfowl that lived in the old garden pool. Since slavery times, fishermen believed that feeding these birds would bring them luck the next time out. "Thief! Thief!" A fish crow spied Hugh Thomas's catch and sent up a signal. Birds darkened the sky. They swooped down, speared their fish, and soared away, screeching, "Thief! Thief!" "Shoo!" shouted Hugh Thomas, but the birds chased him across the parish road and under the trestle, stopping just short of the first house in Free Jack's quarters. Chantilly, the neighbor girl's cat, was sunning on the porch steps. Her gray eyes were fixed on the wagon full of plump fish. "Why, it's a Christmas gift!" the cat shouted, excitement swelling her words. "To see you, that is," she added in a soft purr. Hugh Thomas was surprised that the cat was talking, and to him, most of the time Chantilly wouldn't even look in his direction. "It's not my custom to report on the mistress's whereabouts, but if you want to see Miss Chally Pearl, she is with Walter Edward out back in the okra patch. Can't you hear them laughing together?" Without thinking, Hugh Thomas hopped the fence and disappeared around the house. Sometime later, he came back with his friend in tow. He was talking all excited and explaining, "Come see for yourself. It was 1,000,000 fish." Chally Pearl stopped. "What million? I see 3 little fish." Hugh Thomas was completely confused. Then he looked at Chantilly and understood. "You tricked me," he accused her. "You ate my fish. Say you did." The cat blinked innocently and cleaned her whiskers. Chally Pearl scooped up her pet. "You must be addled, Hugh Thomas. Come telling me that whopper, then laying blame on my poor precious kitty cat." And she marched away in a huff. Meanwhile, a chorus of Chantilly's friends meowed contentedly as they licked their paws. With only 3 fish left, Hugh Thomas followed the path to the backwater slough, where Papa Daddy and Elder Abijah's houseboat was tied up. They were sitting in the front porch playing checkers. "Seems the Bayo let you come way with a fine catch this morning," Elder Abijah said, smiling. "Best luck a fisherman can have is to catch just enough for dinner," Papa Daddy put in. "But I caught 1,000,000 more," the boy boasted. "What happened to 'em is a long story." Papa Daddy pulled his straw hat down over his eyes. Elder Abijah leaned back in the old cane chair, and both of them propped their feet up on the railing. "So, you've learned that Bayo Clapito is a mighty strange place. Tell us now, was it really 1,000,000? A smile broke across Hugh Thomas's face, and he winked his eye. "More or less," he answered, and started right in on his tale. Do you think it was really 1,000,000? More or less, right? This story by Patricia McKissack shows the art of storytelling, with the older gentleman starting by telling their story to Hugh Thomas, and in the end, he has his own tale to tell. I hope you enjoyed 1,000,000 fish, more or less.